let us look at what do we mean by the center of an ellipse. So the ellipse that we've already seen, x square by a square plus y square b square equal to 1, we'll be talking about that. The center for that ellipse is here at the origin. Right, basically the midpoint of the two foci is your center. So I can rewrite this equation as x minus 0 whole square plus y minus 0 whole square by a square by b square is equal to 1, right? And this is basically your just the same thing that I've been doing, or the same thing that I did for parabola, right? So y square equal to 4ax. When I had the parabola, I wrote it as y minus 0 whole square is equal to 4a into x minus 0. Now remember, this 0 and the 0, they represent your centers. If I change this to x minus h whole square by a square plus y minus k whole square by b square is equal to 1, then the new center will be hk. So it will be something like the coordinate system remains the same, but my ellipse is not centered at 0, 0. The ellipse is not centered at 0. The ellipse is centered at some hk. The axis of the ellipse are still parallel to x and y axis. So let this be the major axis. In fact, I have not drawn the ellipse rightly. It's rather something like this. So let this be your major axis. The axis is still parallel to x axis. Let this be the minor axis. This axis is still parallel to y axis, but the center, the point of intersection of these two axes, is not 0, 0. It is h, k. So that can always be identified from the equation itself. If you have x minus h, if you have y minus k, then that's equal to 1. And that's equal to 1, then that means that the center of this ellipse is h, k. So that's all that you needed to know as far as the center of an ellipse is concerned. And if the center is shifted from 0, 0 to hk, then the equation changes in this manner. Basically, even the directrix and everything will change, right? So you had the directrix here as x equal to a by e. What will you have here? Here you will have x minus h equal to a by e. Right. So it is very similar to the parabola thing. If you remember, I asked you to change x to x minus h. I asked you to change y to y minus k. Here also you will do the same thing. Whenever your center is shifted from 0, 0 to h, k, you will simply replace x with x minus h. Wherever you see x, be it the equation of a directrix, be it the equation of latus rectum, be it the equation of the curve itself, just change x to x minus h. So here you had x square, here you will have x minus h square. Just change y to y minus k. And when you make these two changes and replace, you will get all the new formula. So now you will know the new directrix, now you will know the new latus rectum. So you'll know this latus rectum is different from this latus rectum, right? This is your x equal to ae. What will this be? This will be x should change to x minus h. So x minus h equal to ae. Right. So all those changes will automatically fall into place if you just remember making these two interchanges. So these are the most crucial steps. Basically, whenever your center is changed from 0, 0 to hk, that's all that you needed to know about the center of an ellipse.